Author and journalist George Layton visited Louisville during the mid-1930s, after which he opined in Harper's Magazine that the River City was a place that paid great attention to food and drink. But for the rest, they seemed to let well enough alone.
8 decades later, the city's dining scene continues to thrive, while many of the same problems that long ago plagued Louisville's urban landscape still persist, namely the physical barriers that isolate West Louisville, dividing the city by race and class. This did not occur by accident.
In the late 1920s, Harland Bartholomew, he arrived in Louisville to develop the city's first comprehensive plan. He was the nation's first full-time city planner, and he guided the federal government on the placement of interstate highways in cities.
His strategy essentially was to redesign downtowns for cars rather than people, but there was more to it than that. Ultimately, Bartholomew had more influence in shaping Louisville's present urban landscape than perhaps any other individual. That the urban form we traverse today is one shaped by white supremacy cannot be ignored. In 1932, Bartholomew published a document titled The Negro Housing Problem in Louisville, where he concluded,
he said, "There are a number of obstacles that are fundamental to any scheme for improving the housing conditions among Negroes. Among these include a lack of desire among a large portion of the population for something better than they are accustomed to. If it were possible to create among the Negro masses a real desire for decent accommodations, well, the slums would just eliminate themselves."
Bartholomew placed the blame for poor housing on the shoulders of African Americans. This document set in motion the forces that destroyed the Black business district on Wall Street and the historically African American Russell neighborhood. A year after this document was published, the city began construction of the Beecher Terrace Public Housing Complex for Blacks in West Downtown and the Clarksdale Public Housing Complex for whites east of the Central Business District. It was a form of institutionalized housing reminiscent of a prison campus.
In 1957, Bartholomew and his associates again visited Louisville to devise an updated comprehensive plan. He proposed an elevated expressway along 9th Street to allow more breathing space for the downtown businesses. This concept was based on the Federal Housing Administration's recommendation that a high-speed traffic artery or a wide street parkway may prevent the expansion of undesirable entities into the adjacent business area.
The intentions of the 1957 plan stated the demolition of Black neighborhoods would insulate and protect the tremendous values in the Central Business District against the rundown and blighted neighborhoods around it. Thus, urban renewal was never motivated by the well-being of residents, but the economic health of downtown based upon the exclusion of African Americans.
In theory, the 1957 West Downtown Renewal Plan was designed to deal with traffic, but it succeeded in mainly destroying Louisville's historic urban topology, and it displaced thousands of Black families.
And while it's generally accepted that the Black middle class in Louisville never recovered from urban renewal, tonight we reframe the conversation to ask a different question.
We ask this tonight: what can we learn from our past mistakes as a city and help ourselves to heal and move forward together? Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to share with you tonight the West End Poetry Opera.